I will say ye mo bibia kwaba na infambre mega TV and platform we eso. Amaliba Abraham Amaliba one of NDC Liga Council member. Na oni Ebo Buckman omo aso edesi OSP any ye Afenyo Markin so ubeka ya bra Afenyo Markin ensem ne hyase se eba no sorry kinufrata ensem hyase se eboba somewhere February honum no Afenyo Markin ejina parliament beka kire Ghana fo nyina se enche kra kinufrata beba en wafre no wafre na kinufrata se oba etimi ma date nyina kinufrata de beba abusiafo yi ene am not hui anasi ohwemi. Could you believe say we are almost done with this year? Kinufurata ain't show up. I ain't himself and drop what the attorney general can. There is nothing sure say Kinufurata ebeba Ghana have you unless say embra action edna be pima. Edian na mana basa chira wadwon comment section yenko ne nkuti Ebo Buckman ena owura ye frɛ no eye Manasa Zuri enso akasa bi e de afa ho. Ho nyina kyerɛ omadwen. Yenkɔ enti ese no munchi mu yakoba ebeto so hanom mention number 1 authentic platform Mega TV yankopon ka ho na onhyira papa enti nkomori bi yakoba ebeto so.
Extradition agreement between your country where the fugitive fled from to the country that you want them to surrender the person to you. And here Ghana has an extradition treaty with the U.S. There's a 1960 extradition, people say 32, but there was a succession to this 32 in 1960. So
that's Act 22.
Yes, so 1960, yes. So we have. Then, you rightly indicated, the crime, the act that is being complained of in Ghana as a crime must also be a crime in the U.S. And I think that has also been dealt with, you know. Now, you must also charge, so the person must be an accused person or a convicted person, which means that he must be charged, or that trial has gone on and finally there has been some conviction, you know. At this point, when you certify all this, the Attorney General must now make a request, like you said, and must include all processes that would ensure that the U.S. authorities will have a look at it and determine. There mustn't be an inkling of political persecution. That is very important. It mustn't be a matter that will suggest that the person is being persecuted. So if it's on political grounds, they won't allow you to, he will not be returned. And I'm sure those are the areas that Ken will be raising. He will say it is political. And so, per the rules of natural justice also, he will be given his day in court. In Ghana is a district court, there too is a district court, but the federal judge will now determine the matters. Then, if the court certifies, you now spoke about the State Department will now determine all those matters. So, it's a long way. We've cleared 2 hurdles, or if not 3, because we have an extradition treaty. But, Ken, why did he enter the office with a criminal mind? Because I don't understand how, when government changed, he immediately left. Is it that when he was in office, he knew that he was not managing the affairs of state to the glory of the good people of Ghana? Because he said he was going for treatment, and now he's not coming. This is the first time a finance minister, or even, let's say in this 4th Republic, a minister, after government has changed hands, has left the country. and refusing to come for accountability. There were instances where ministers were even outside, but when they heard of their charges, they came voluntarily. Victor Selman. Even my own charge, he decided to come back, and he was in church and they picked him up. Is that not it? Yeah. He could have also stayed away. So the question I'm asking is, did Ken know that all the things I am doing whilst in government are wrong against the people of this country? And why will anybody enter office with a criminal mind? We are aware of some of the things he did. The what Franklin Templeton things, the bond issues. And during those periods, we had people say that, oh, Ken was not taking salary. I say, look, if what we are hearing about bonds and his data bank is a transaction advisor and the amounts that are coming to him, what is a chicken change of salary? Who will be disturbing instead of taking salary? Then we heard about how insurance businesses meant for SIC were diverted to enterprise insurance. Clear case of conflict of interest. Clear case of abuse of power. So I don't know. And you see, Ken's thing is a worrying to me. It's worrying to me. Because this is a man who speaks softly. You will not attribute all these things to him. A man who is in white apparel. A man who will quote all the Bible verses. So you don't understand where, and a man who lives simple life. I think that, I don't know, but I'm not the Attorney General's party, but I think that I can see, because he didn't do these things alone, I'm sure. I can see organized crime, and Yoko can go into it. I can see corruption, and already SIS, Special Prosecutor, is dealing with it. The next step I want is for his properties, his assets to be frozen. Yeah. Because the man is now using the returns of those investments to be fighting us in the UK. Which ordinary Ghanaian? In the US. In the US. Which ordinary Ghanaian, if is going to be extradited, can afford lawyers in the US? So he's using. Why don't you cut off the oxygen?
I mean, that if we should have done that, that should have been done like long ago.
Yeah. But I'm bringing it out. Because
but
for Iyoko, when you can show in your charges that the proceeds were used to acquire or whatever it is, you can freeze. There's a freezing order. The same provision is in SOP. Freezing order. It is possible to do that. So, me, I've said it.
I mean, your questions about why he's not coming back and whether he entered public office with a mindset, are those questions not addressed by the key facts that we know, that facts that are not consistent with someone who is fleeing, someone who is traveling and he notifies exiting chief of staff, incoming chief of staff, that I'm traveling, I'm going for medical treatment. Is that not a key fact that should put us to rest, that when he was leaving, at least that was not with the mindset of running away?
So then now, we need you. You are not coming. You say you are sick. We've seen you and your wife walking briskly. You see, I've used the word briskly. That's not a sick person who walks that way. Walking briskly in the US. So, I don't know. But you see, we run an executive president. I can't see how Nana Akufo-Addo, all the things he was doing, did not have blessing from Nana Akufo-Addo. Today, Atu-Forsen cannot do things John Mahama will not be aware of. I think that with an executive presidency, I finish.
Let me come to Ebo before I go to Austin and Ebo. There's a part of a subtle point that I read in the AB submission. There's the possibility that if the state fails to extradite Ken Ofori-Atta, there's a certain standard that now may potentially become the norm. You'd have individuals who serve in public office, and when government's about to change hands, they are just going to leave the country. I mean, some individuals may not even take public office that have requirements of dual citizenship, so they may still be dual citizens, hold those offices, and just close to elections, they'll just leave the country. And that will become a worrying trend. We will not be able to hold people accountable.
Yes, if we fail, if we succeed in this fight, this extradition will become accountability tool that could be used to deter others who would want to follow the footsteps of Ken Ofori-Atta. But if we should fail, then corruption will become exportable. And so that is why we should not fail in this fight. It's a shame. It's a shame. Nana Akufo-Addo should bow his head in shame. Afenyo Markin, who told us that Ken Ofori-Atta will return and even gave us the date of his return, must also bow his head in shame. And the MPP people must bow their head in shame, especially their leadership in parliament who are making noise, who are even asking the Greek minister and other people to resign because they were not in parliament to answer questions. The land minister to resign because of the withdrawal of the lithium agreement. This, you see, the leadership. When about 80-something MP said Ken was mismanaging this economy, Ken was not doing the right thing, and that Ken should resign, none of the current leadership of MPP in parliament supported them. You see, it's a shame. It's a shame. And this, you see, this will leave an indelible stain on integrity of MPP and on even the reputation of the family, Ken Ofori-Atta's family. That for the first time, a former finance minister, has run away. In fact, he has run away from accountability and justice. And that we have to spend money to bring him. I mean, this is so bad. And it's a defining moment for us. We should fight this and win this fight if we're going to fight against corruption and succeed. Because we have no option, my brother. We are living in a country that is so battered, a country that has suffered from corrupt leaders. I mean, travel around the country, you see innumerable images of poverty. Sometimes, even in Accra, don't go beyond even Accra. Go to certain parts of Accra. You see poverty, you see images of poverty. The higher corruption, the higher you have corruption, the higher your poverty level. That is what is happening. That's a direct relationship between corruption and poverty. An inverse one between corruption and development. That is why we are suffering as a nation. And someone who was in charge of our finances, I mean, this is the man who nearly collapsed NIB. Intentionally, he wanted to collapse NIB so that they could buy it. As AB said, this is the man who diverted states. I mean, I listened to the Nakumia, who is also making noise out today, supporting Baumia. I listened to him. He said he was going for a loan from a Greek bank. And he was told, because he was in charge of STC, he was told the only way they would give him the loan was if he had brought enterprise insurance as a guarantee or something like that. So without enterprise insurance, he was not going to get a loan. Can you imagine? And this man was the finance minister. Anytime we took loan, this man benefited. And we kept quiet as a nation. You see, their trick, Nana Akufo-Addo gave us free SHS. And they were stealing more than that. He said, I'm not going to take my salary. And he was stealing more than that.
I mean, all those allegations that...
they were stealing.
Yeah, I mean, but at this stage, there are allegations.
You see, as for you, the lawyers, we will speak our language, you understand. They were stealing. He stole. He plundered the state and he has run away
Allegedly, and all those are matters that will be.
Okay, if you want to use a legal word, allegedly, if that's what you want. You see, I think we should be serious about fighting corruption. That is why I don't want us to fail with this oral thing.
I mean, but you made reference to the former president, Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and a couple of days ago, there was a story that claimed that he had considered approaching the president to seek the assurances of the safe passage of Ken Ofori-Atta. His office actually issued a statement, and I just want to read a part of it to you. It says, as a firm believer in democratic tenets, Nana Akufo-Addo's fidelity to the rule of law has never been in question. It is true that the fate of Mr. Ofori-Atta is of considerable concern to the former president because, after all, apart from Mr. Ofori-Atta being his cousin, more importantly, he was the Minister for Finance in both governments of his mandate. But that concern does not extend to wanting to interfere with the rule of law. Hopefully, this sets the record straight on this particular matter. That's the position of...
But they did it together. They did it together.
They did what together?
Or whatever Ken Ofori-Atta did, but they're not knew about it. You see, why are you playing the ostrich? These people, I told you, these people had a plan. They had a game plan. In fact, a family member, I'm disclosing this today. A family member, a very close family member told me, he said after 2020 elections, Ken Ofori-Atta left this country for some time. He went to one of the islands in the world, and that is why he plotted how they were going to loot this country.
I mean, those are serious
yes, I'm saying, I'm disclosing this. It's a yes,
yeah, but,
yes. I'm saying it's an allegation. I'm saying that a family member told me, and so let's not play ostrich. These people had a plan to come and loot. They've looted this country. They've destroyed this country. If he's not done anything, it should come. I've told you. You see, until you appreciate what poverty is doing to people. Until you see children lying on the floor, bare floor, until you see children learning under trees, until you see road accidents because of poor nature of our road, until you see youth becoming hopeless because of unemployment, you would want to joke with some of these things. It's so serious a problem that we've given you a mandate, you are managing our finances, you had control. People had to come and beg before you could pay contractors, before you pay them. You had all these powers. You finished, then you've run away. Now the country will have to now engage in legal battles before you come to your own country. I have said it, and let me repeat it here. So long as that man remains abroad, MPP must remain in opposition. Ghanaians, let's be serious. And it's so sad you hear that they want to come back to power. If they don't bring that man, the party must remain in opposition.
Okay.
And let's be serious about it. We can't destroy this country in the name of political parties.
Okay. All right. Because
my children may not do politics, but they must succeed in this country, not because their father is a politician, but because leaders have charted a path for them to follow and succeed. That is the kind of country we want to build. And that is why Ken Ofori-Atta must come. We should do whatever. And you see, let's not... OSP, who is supposed to freeze his assets? If it's your call, let's begin to freeze the assets. My brothers, let's be serious. So, I've seen poverty before. So when I speak, I appreciate it. I have seen poverty before.
That's why they show the Christmas very differently.
Yes! I've seen poverty before.
Let me welcome into the conversation Manasseh Azuri is an investigative journalist. You all know Manasseh. Manasseh, good morning.
Good morning, Joseph.
Yes, Manasseh, I'll come to you shortly. Just hold on a bit for me, just for a couple of minutes. Let me come to Austin in the studio here. And I mean, Austin, for you, the lawyers, and I always make reference to this point by the former Auditor General that corruption always fights back. I mean, for you, the lawyers, I mean, if you were handling Ofori-Atta's brief, obviously you'll be fighting this. I mean, you'll be fighting this all the step. There's no way any lawyer who has received instructions from Ofori-Atta, his first instinct will be that come to Ghana. You always want to question every stage of the process. The longer it drags, more billable hours for you. It also means that he's not coming down and he's living his life.
Joseph, I don't think that's the case. The case is whether or not the extradition process is legitimate and valid. And I think you set the ground rule. While legal basis exists for extradition between Ghana and US, I think successfully extraditing Ken Ofori-Atta would require surmounting significant legal, political, and procedural hurdles. I don't see it. And I shudder to say the AG will struggle to extradite Ken Ofori-Atta to this country. And here's a deal. Don't forget that, as well articulated, extradition process is a well-circumscribed legal process, hinging on key principles and key entrenched principles of international and domestic laws, including AB hinted at the principle against political persecution or persecution. And we also have the non-discrimination. Joe, this case, this is a high-profile extradition case involving a former finance minister, in fact, a central figure in the previous administration. Ordinarily, this case will attract significant and intense attention in the US. And key questions like the motive, prosecutorial fairness, and political neutrality will come in. And compounding this challenge, or these challenges, are the persistent prejudicial public commentaries by both the Attorney General and the Special Prosecutor on this very matter.
No, say that again.
You see,
What will
such
affect it?
remarks, such remarks risk undermining Ghana's credibility as a requesting state. Don't forget.
But
No, why is it? No, why is it stated that those remarks can be a barrier?
No, he's making a point about the point on the political persecution angle that you even made reference to. And he's saying that they have made comments that he thinks are prejudicial, which could feed into their body of evidence to make the case that it's a political witch hunt. I guess I captured that right.
Is that what?
Yes.
No. That's not what. What will be used to determine is the documentation that will accompany the request.
But the lawyers will be making the positions as well. You can make a point.
No, the documentation, the documentation is basic.
There's nothing wrong with an Attorney General who believes in his case and says that I am going to ensure that this person comes home.
Maybe just hold on for me.
Joseph,
I don't get it.
Joseph, submitting the request, which entails submitting the relevant document, it's just a fundamental, the basic. It does not presuppose that, or does not guarantee you having a smooth sail with the extradition process, or it doesn't guarantee a straightforward exercise. I am saying that extradition process across the world, that process is circumscribed, and matters such as principles against political persecution are high on the decks of both extradition court and executive authority in the US. They take such matters seriously. And I'm saying that looking at the prejudicial commentaries by the Attorney General and the Special Prosecutor on such issue, I don't think they will have a straightforward exercise in extraditing Ken Ofori-Atta to this country. And that is it. And this should not be seen as Ken not wanting to come to Ghana. I think we should rather ask ourselves. And this raises a key fundamental question. That what is the motive? Is it political? Because already the Attorney General and the Special Prosecutor have made it that way.
How has the OSP, for instance, made it that way? And the context for this is the fact that the Special Prosecutor, Kisei Jabin, was appointed by Ken Ofori-Atta's cousin, I mean, through the Attorney General at the time. But the appointment was under the NPP regime. So it is their own, if I can put it that way, Special Prosecutor who is seeking to prosecute.
No, I think, Joseph, that it doesn't matter. That doesn't matter at all.
Yeah,
the thing is that,
I mean, what's the basis for the accusation that someone like the OSP has made it political? What's
the thing
basis?
is that I have said that some of the commentaries on matters, key investigations or investigative matters like that should be measured. The OSP
is apolitical.
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether the OSP is apolitical.
But let him answer your question, though.
Yeah,
no.
He will do it.
Don't he was going to run?
No, don't dictate. Don't
reminding him.
No, you've answered yours, so just stick to your list. Joseph, the thing is that that's what I told you. The principles governing extradition exercise across the world. It doesn't matter whether you are independent. The government of the day, you are coming after a central key figure in a previous administration. And I'm saying that their commentaries, public commentaries, have been prejudicial. It amounts to prejudgment.
So where is it? He said, where is it?
Where is what?
The comments. He has asked you.
Which
comments are that?
Oh, please, I will not respond to you. I will only respond to you. Because when you had yours, I didn't interrogate you. Joseph, I'm saying that the AG and the Special Prosecutor have made key central prejudicial commentaries.
Like-
And by
like-
even drawing conclusions
Like-
that they have. No, please. I will. You have to.
No,
you have to.
listen to
No,
this.
it should be measured
No,
because
we are not-
if I if,
no,
if
no, don't worry,
if
don't
I
worry, just
you know
answer
if
me.
I
Just answer me.
interject his salvation, I'm
You
sure
didn't
I'm not sure you will
interject, so
be.
you just
You
go
will
ahead
be.
and answer.
No, so I'm saying that they made key prejudicial judgment, and I have consistently been reprimanding them on such matters. When you investigate people, you can come to the public and tell Ghanaians what you know, but put the facts to the public in the public domain, but don't draw hasty conclusions.
I mean, it comes back to the point that the OSP, is there a specific comment that you recall that he's made that you consider to be prejudicial in relation to Ofori-Atta?
Joseph, when you organize press conference and conclude that you have evidence connecting someone to criminal activities, and that on that basis, the person you are confident that you secure conviction, the person will be
I
jailed.
mean, that's
Prejudicial.
Yeah, but that's basic for any prosecutor.
No,
he's drawn his charge sheet.
That is not how we build a democracy. Joseph, we are building a country. This government, I have said that this government rose to power on the back of what? Accountability. But they've succeeded. And I'm saying that this Attorney General will struggle in winning one case in court. Look at all the cases he has arraigned. You mark it. You will struggle in what? In secure conviction because of the prejudicial commentaries he has made.
Okay.
And the so-called watertight cases and evidence that he has, and he believes that he will secure conviction.
Okay.
These things, Joseph, these things amount to putting or prejudging the matter before even the court gets an opportunity to hear it. I'm saying that the Attorney General will not be successful in extraditing Ken Ofori-Atta to this country. And let me set the basis. Let me say this.
Okay.
You know, many have said that we should. There isn't. You know, yesterday when it was asked about it was asked a bit about the reciprocity.
Yes.
And as to whether or not they should exchange Abu Trigger for. I don't think that's the basis for the extradition process. But the thing is that I'm saying that and you articulated the U.S. Secretary of State within ultimate discretion in deciding whether or not to surrender a fugitive. I am saying that based on the public commentaries of the Attorney General and the Special Prosecutor, they will not mark it. They will not be able to extradite Ken Ofori-Atta.
Okay.
He has not been able to mention one thing. Every Attorney General believes in his case and goes to court believing that he will win.
Okay.
Whether he win or not,
he will fail.
It is for the judge.
He will fail.
So that cannot amount to political interference.
I'm saying that you will fail.
You get my
The
point.
Attorney General will fail.
I don't get him at all.
He can't extradite you. You will fail.
Shortly, let me go to
The Attorney General will fail.
Manasseh on Zoom. Manasseh, good morning once again. And I mean, the key allegation or a key part of, in fact, the case against him relates to the SML matter, a matter that, I mean, you investigated. In the last couple of weeks, the storm has been around your dissatisfaction with what the OSP was doing and everything. I mean, we also how that played out there. But I mean, at this point in time, satisfied with where we are, the attempts by the states formally to get Ken Ofori-Atta back into the country?
Well, I think we are still very far away from satisfaction. I tend to share part of Austin's concern about the difficulty, but the part I disagree with him is the saying that prejudicial commentary was made. I have listened to the special prosecutor, and I don't remember hearing him say that he will secure conviction and he will get people in jail. So if there is that thing that a special prosecutor Kisia Jabin said anywhere, maybe the person saying it should draw attention to it. I didn't hear that. I also want to draw his attention to something he made, that look, these people will find it very difficult to secure conviction in court because of the comments they made. And if you want to put the two side by side, then his belief that these are state officials, attorney general, special prosecutor, they will find it difficult to secure conviction, it means that the judiciary is independent. Otherwise, if you make these comments in some countries and you say I'll secure conviction, you can go to court and still secure conviction no matter how bad your case is. So if he strongly believes that they will find it difficult to secure conviction despite what they have said, then it means that the judiciary has a mind of its own. And that is something that the international community should also be concerned about or avert their attention to if they want to feed into this, let me say, frivolous excuse that Ken Ofori-Atta and his lawyers would want to give. There are others standing trial here. Just a day or two ago, the Supreme Court made a decision that favored the opposition. So we are not saying our judiciary is perfect, but as someone who presided over our resources, and let's even forget that he was a powerful minister, and that power, when I was doing my book, The President Ghana Never Got, I nearly said never forgot. In fact, it's something we want to forget. In this book, I asked someone or people close to the Jubilee House, and on page, I think 149 or so, they said, if you took the president out, the next powerful person in this administration was Ken Ofori-Atta. And I want to correct my brother, elder brother Amaliba a bit. He says something that Atuforce cannot do anything without Muhammad knowing. I want to say that he shouldn't put the president in such a difficult situation. All the ministers and the appointees can do things that the president wouldn't know. In this SML thing, I had information that President Akufo-Addo got very angry when the details began to emerge. And some sources close to the Jubilee House said it was actually the reason Ken Ofori-Atta was finally asked to go. So it is possible. The question is, could the president have done more when these issues came up? Yes, he could have. But I just want us to be maybe fair sometimes and also give people the benefit of the doubt. In all my investigation, never for once did I hear that the president was linked to this or Akufo-Addo gave instruction to ABC. So Ken should come back home and then answer. The formal request is one thing, but I believe it takes more than just issuing the request and going to sleep. This is the stage that we would want to see the Attorney General's office and that of the Special Prosecutor to bury whatever differences they have. And I know, and those who know what happens or goes on in this country also know that that difference is there. Some public pronouncements and subtle competitions and others. Okay. But I would appeal to those two offices to bury whatever hatches they have and then get together. I have problems when civil society and people talk, we have to give independence, whatever. Independence is important. But if you want to really fight corruption, it takes more than just independence. It takes a lot of collaboration. When we look at how the US even get into our country and investigate and get these people out, they involve different state institutions. The Narcotics Control Authority, IOCO, sometimes they involve the OSP, Attorney General. They bring all of the police. And if you go back to the US, sometimes in the investigation, they will name that this investigation was carried out by the FBI, the Drug Enforcement Agency, and all manner of institutions. These are very well-resourced in terms of funds and also human resource and technology. But when they want to do these things, they involve everybody. So my plea is, if this extradition fails, it won't be solely blamed on the US authorities. Okay. How we react, how serious we get. Besides the laws and everything, we also have diplomatic pressures and everything that is at play. I know for sure that Ken Ofori-Atta's US visa will expire on the 14th of on the 14th of February 2026. So he has less than 3 months for his visa to expire. When his visa expires and he is fighting or he wants to renew it, it is the discretion of the U.S. authorities. Okay. There are people who have valid visas. When they were coming, they were stopped at the borders, and the excuse was that, look, nobody has a right to be admitted here in the U.S. It is a privilege. Okay. Okay. So a government can do so much, but I believe that we shouldn't just go to bed. This is someone who, running away alone, communicates something in tree when they say obedient in one. It means the person has done something terrible. They feel that if they even go through the right judgment, they may not be able to win. So what they do is to just run away. So there's like someone running away. I don't see any good reason why Ken should not come back and face justice like some of the people under him, some of whom he gave orders to proceed with certain things.
Okay, Manasseh. Thank you very much. Let me come to the studio now, and there's a point that, Manasseh, you make about the importance of the Ghanaian angle. I have interacted with someone who is very familiar with the extradition process, what we do for the U.S. here in Ghana, and he makes the point that it's largely more about what the political will of the country that is ensuring that they are taking the person away, and he explains that they've done it a number of times for the U.S. And the ones that he's handled, he says he remembers it was just on one occasion that they were not successful, at least in the number of years that he's been dealing with that process. And they filed the extradition documents in court, and mostly the magistrate looks through it, and more often than not, they give the order. But elsewhere, there's a lot of challenge here and there. And so it's like, what is the other way around? It's a bit more difficult. It appears that we tend to lean towards assisting. So we are committed to ensuring that this person who has been identified and is needed in the country, we follow through the process and make sure that we get a person out. Whereas over there, it may be a different ballgame if there's not that commitment, which could also be a challenge in itself. And let me bring in Prof now at this stage. And Prof, what are the key thoughts on your mind with what we know so far and where we are?
Thank you, Aka, and let me greet all our listeners and viewers everywhere in the world, and also my colleague panelists. I decided to be on TV to educate people about things, and for me, television is just teaching without walls. So I've listened to the side of lawyers, I've listened to the side of investigative journalists, I've listened to the side of the both from the political angle, and I'm going to go to the governance and leadership part of it. There's something called argumentum ad valorem, which is hasty generalization. And I hear that a lot. What some people say is, categorizing people and events when the process have just begun. So I have been at jury duty in U.S., been to court. I have a lot of attorney friends, and I've been talking to them about this process. U.S. law is easy. It's so easy. If you have morals, you never get into any problems in U.S. because morality is above the law. But let me start it this way. Listening to the Attorney General saying that he has formally requested extradition of Ken Ofori-Atta and Ernest Dakun Akwari to face 78 count of corruption charges. So now this is not about political witch hunting or anything, but it is about corruption that a man has done. Now we have to look at the best way to extradite Ken, because that is the process of the law. The first one is that we have to invoke that treaty that A.B. talked about. Once you invoke it, it's just like a Christian, you are going to pray and you invoke that power of God of Abraham, God of Isaac, and God of Jacob. That is the thing that you invoke to make God act on your behalf, because that's the covenant that he has. So after that, there's a formal request that the Attorney General has done. So that first two processes have been gone through. The U.S. have a part to play, and this part is not coming from the state judges. It is coming from federal judges. Now, if you're a lawyer in America, you can practice in a state. So I work with Pearson as a manager. Once you are certified by a board to be a lawyer, in a state, you can't practice in another state unless you have tri-states that you can practice in other states. But you practice in one state, but not the entire states. So there's something called a probable cause, which the U.S. have to start from. So we have started our first 2 sections. The probable cause is very simple. They will assess if there is any probable cause to believe that Ofori-Atta really committed the alleged offense. So is there a probable cause? The same way that your wife can call the police and say that you mishandled her, you violated against something. The police will come and ask, is there a probable cause that this man could have done it? If there's a probable cause, that is all U.S. knows, from the state to the federal level. If there's a probable cause, then the state can take action. If there's no probable cause, then either the state or the federal cannot take any action. So they are going to look at the probable cause first. Then, if there's a probable cause, the next action is arrest and detention. So, if there's a probable cause, he will be arrested and detained in the U.S. pending the extradition proceedings. So that's a long process that I will talk about. Now, there will be an extradition hearing after his arrest from the first 2 processes. So, yes, we have invoked the treaty, we have requested formally. Now, U.S. is going to determine a probable cause. After the probable cause, they are going to arrest. If there's a probable cause, arrest Ken. Now, when they arrest Ken, that is not the end. There's going to be an extradition hearing. That will be done by a U.S. court. And they will hear the determination with what I've always been preaching here, the power of if. If extradition is warranted. So they will look at the case and see that is extradition warranted in this case? Does it merit it? Now, after that, the Secretary of State will give an approval. So it comes to politics now. Will give an approval. And there's another if there. If the court approves extradition, then the U.S. Secretary of State will make a final decision. So the court can even approve it, but the Secretary of State would determine finally whether he should be extradited. Now, we have to know that Ghana will have to provide sufficient evidence to the U.S. court to prove that, yes, he is really Ofori-Atta who committed that, because sometimes you accuse somebody and they will find out that it is a wrong person being accused, so they have to go through that process. Then we also have to make sure that it is going to be complex and lengthy. This is not just an easy thing. I like what Manasseh talked about, that his visa, they know, yes, everybody knows that it expires in February, because U.S., everybody will know. But can also have a visa of about 10 years for Canada and then another 10 years for UK. So there's a likelihood that if U.S. decides that, look, your visa has expired, you have a case back home, so go home, he can go to Canada or he can go to UK. I mean, without coming to Ghana.
If he goes to Canada now, it means that we have to now do another
one. So I'm explaining to Ghanaians so that they will understand the complexity of this issue. I have seen, because I was Ghana Association president in Cincinnati, Ohio for a long time, I have done this for many Ghanaians. Somebody can be in drugs, get to Ghana, get back to JFK, and they will say that you are not coming back to US again. Even though you are a US citizen, no, don't come back again. And the person can invoke that I also have Canadian citizenship. So instead of coming to Ghana, they take that person to Canada. You have to go to Canada to begin the process again there. So he has 10 years for Canada, 10 years for UK. Yes, the US one is expiring in February, but he can go to either of these countries. So the lawyers should know this. The other part I want to talk about is the extradition process in the US, which is very key. The request has been submitted. The Department of Justice will review the request and file a complaint in federal court, not a state court. Then the arrest, I've talked about that. And then the extradition hearing, we'll talk about how Ken was accused, and it will give him the opportunity to explain what to do. I've been to U.S. court once. I was driving one night, and I got to a place from Indiana to Ohio. It was snowing. And then the GPS could not tell me on the road whether I should pass left or right. So I stopped. And as soon as I started moving, a police officer came out from nowhere. And then he said, "You missed the way. You stopped here. That was traffic violation." And I started laughing that, "Were you following me?" He said, "I've been following for the past 5 miles on this road alone." So I had to go to court. And the judges are interesting. They will ask you that this is what the police officer said you did. Can you explain? Sometimes you don't even need a lawyer in U.S. Once you explain your part of it, they will look at the merit of the issue and say that these are the possible, challenges and the possible sentences. Do you want to do communal work? Do you want to do this? They give you the option so that you also say you're part of it. So it's very interactive. They don't wear the wigs that you guys wear here. Everything is like a former person you are sitting with and talking to. So U.S. law is not difficult. They look at the facts and then the evidence. Now, the other thing is that the hearing, there will be in front of a federal magistrate judge for a hearing to be determined if three things are going to be determined. If the crime is an extraditable crime. So it's the crime that you are saying he committed. Does that mean we should extradite him? 2, probable cause exists. So probable cause is everything there. Then the third one is if the person is the one sought. So is it Oforiatta that you are looking for? Is he the one? Have we done all the DNA to make sure that he's the one that you are looking for? Then we go to the appeals. So you see the process. Now in the appeals process, you see determine that the individual can appeal the judge's decision. So Oforiatta can, even after the decision that is going to be extradited, his lawyers can appeal that. Now when they do that, the Secretary of State will also need to approve and make the final determination on that. Then there are key requirements that they have to look for the probable cause. One of them is the dual criminality that you talked about from the beginning. It means that the offense must be a crime in both countries. So it's a crime in Ghana that he committed corrupt acts. But is it a crime in America also? Yes, corruption is illegal in America. So both crimes are illegal in both countries. So we have a case there. The second one is the probable cause that I've talked about. Evidence must show probable cause of the crime. And then the third one is the treaty requirement that we have also invoked. So if you look at the requirements, we have met 2 out of 3. We have met the dual criminality one. We've met the treaty requirement. The third one is the probable cause. And we need evidence here to show probable cause of the crime. The last leg of it is that the process will also be complex, often involving court appeals and diplomatic considerations. Now, that is also not the end. When we are successful to finally extradite him to Ghana, then he's also coming to Ghana court. Right? He will not come to Ghana, then immediately you send him to jail. Or, take all his assets and confiscate them. We are going to send him to Ghanaian court. Here too, he will get lawyers. And in the process, he will have to prove innocent or guilty of the 78 counts of corrupt acts.
But Akabule.
Yes, I saw you made some notes.
Yeah, the key point about the extradition is not so much about some of the things he said. We passed them. Is he Oforiatta? We all know he's Oforiatta. Is it extraditable? It is. What is important for me that the U.S. authorities will look at, which we have passed anyway, is whether our justice delivery system can provide justice to Oforiatta. So, for instance, they wouldn't have sent, if he was like a Venezuelan citizen, they would say they don't believe in the justice system there. Or, some countries, their justice system cannot be relied upon. We have a justice system that can stand the test of time. So they know when he comes, he will go through the process without any interference. So the comments that the Attorney General makes has nothing to do with our justice delivery system. Now, some people have talked about Abu Trika. Now, let me make this point clear. That even though the Abu Trika case will not impact on Oforiatta's case, that is to say, if Ghana decides to extradite him, and people are thinking about swapping.
We've done that before. I mean, I think
no, that's a different matter. Suzuki case is a different matter.
We did a swap.
So people are talking about swapping. And I am saying that it may not have a direct implication, but when judges sit and make judgments, it is not only based on the law, it is also based on non-legal factors. Secondly, again, it is also based on non-legal factors. So, if you are an armed robber and you appeal for a judge who was robbed a night before, you appear before him, that will have an impact on how your case will be heard. So, if Ghana gives Abu Trika out to the U.S., because the U.S. is in need of Abu Trika, that can be a factor that can sway the judge. That, look, we wanted this man, they gave us. You also want it, we'll give you. So, don't dismiss that one entirely. I'm saying that non-legal factors also operate.
Okay, I get you.
On the judge's mind. Yes,
that's fine. Final comments, Austin and Ebo, then I'll wrap up with Prof as well.
My position is that this process is neither mechanical nor inevitable. But, it has AB hinted that it's an interplay between law, an interplay. So, of law, diplomacy, judicial restraint, and executive discretion. And I think the pushing of our prosecutorial authorities will have an impact on this process. Whether or not it will succeed is based on the prosecutorial conduct and the commentaries by our officials.
Okay. Ebo, final comments?
Yes. I think you shouldn't have gotten here if you had been vigilant. I don't think the man would have gone in the first place. And so, I think we need to learn from this. I believe you could have a law that before any election, before any general election, any political office holder should surrender his passport to maybe to the judicial, to, I don't know, the judicial secretary or to, so that after election you have to be cleared of accountability before your passport can be given to you. Are you getting the point I'm making? That's why, so it shouldn't be after, before the elections, you surrender your passport.
Both diplomatic and personal
Yes, yes. So that after the elections, if the result doesn't go in your favor and you want to run away, you can run away. And so that you will have to be held accountable before your passport will be given to you. I think subsequently you should be able to have that law. Because this case should teach us a great lesson.
Such a blanket law will affect persons who have conducted themselves so well in office,
but you see,
and do not fall under it.
Yeah, you see, and you see, you see. Last, I told you something. I said whenever you are passing law, we should look at both from worst case scenario and best case scenario. You are saying that yes. That's so if you haven't done anything after the elections, you will be cleared. You haven't done anything. But if you have done something wrong, then you won't be cleared. You have to be answerable to the work that was given to you. And for me, if you're able to do that, it will help all of us.
Yes,
it will help all of us.
Yes.
I think that the OSP office wasted 10 months of our time. If they had acted quickly to give these to the Attorney General's office to start this process, we could have been somewhere by now. But so be it. We are where we are now. They could have acted quicker in collaboration with the AG's office. The last thing that I want to talk about is that when I saw the AG saying that the Kenofurata has hired top lawyers in the US to fight his extradition, so it will be difficult for us, I just shook my head.
Did he say it will be difficult for you? He didn't say that.
That is what I saw quoted by the medias and all that. So, but he's not afraid.
He didn't say he said that.
But he said he's not afraid.
Yeah.
So the AG should not be blamed for this. They are doing their part in the process. They should not be afraid. US is very open and collaborative when it comes to criminals. They will help you extradite criminals if indeed there's an evidence to show that Ofurata has committed those crimes.
Well, you made reference to what the AG said. There's something interesting that he said about Yoko and the work that Yoko had done. We are told that they've had the highest recovery in the history of the agency. They recovered some 142 million Ghana cedis. And the Attorney General, this is what he has to say. He says, the success story of Yoko shows that institutions matter, but institutional leadership is crucial to the success of the institutions we create as a country. The current leadership of Yoko shows that when leadership bestows integrity, institutions perform their mandated functions optimally. That is what the Attorney General had to say about the Economic and Organized Crime Office after their successful recoveries. That's all time would allow for the discussion this morning. And this is a matter that is not ending anytime soon. This is only the start. There will be more to talk about us, and when there are key updates, we'll bring it to you, our viewers, as well. My guests this morning have been Abraham Amaliba, He's a legal practitioner, Director of the National Road Safety Authority, and member of the NDC, and the important advice that he gave on road users, drivers, around this period. I think it's very important that we all adhere to that.
The most important gift you can give to your family is to
arrive safely.
Mm.
And then I always say
not
that
the biscuits.
When you meet drivers who are carrying eggs, the way they drive the car,
careful.
and compared to drivers who are carrying human beings, the way they drive the car, you see the difference. You are scared that the eggs will crack, but the human beings there, then you are gone. Take your time, don't worry, take your time. Austin Barco Powers is a legal practitioner. He joined us in the studio as well. Buckman is with the United Party. But you want to say something?
Disturbing post on Facebook, which I think there are some people who are trying very hard to rope the governor's name into this Boko issue.
Governor or
governor. Yeah.
Why?
That? Oh yes, that I've seen it. I'll have it here. That he met the chastised people and gave them money to buy ammunition. I mean, so those behind these things should stop.
I mean, those are very
Those are very and on social media. Some of these things travel.
Very unnecessary allegations. Very serious.
The man is not part of what we are dealing with at all. Don't rope him into that. It's unfair to him.
Professor Enoch Opoku-Antwi joined us in the studio as well. He's a governance and policy analyst. And before we take a break, if you want to look smart and fashionable, yes, I'll come to that. Yes, I'll come to that. If you want to look smart and fashionable, visit any Woodin boutique nationwide today. Woodin offers an amazing collection of authentic African fabrics and ready-to-wear that come in beautiful designs and colors for men.
Enti assembly ebeko wu a ekra Afenyo Markin. Say Afenyo Markin should be ashamed of himself because he told Ghanaians on point blank. Afenyo Markin told Ghanaians. Afenyo Markin made we Ghanaians understood. Say kinufurata beba to the pointer or chiro data kinufurata de beba kuruma abusianfo ene kinufurata ewo himfa kinufurata wan kin ofurata ewon ene waye na adwin se onsi Ghana ha waye na adwa ko hai enkofo a omunim law enkofo omuye omuniema yie enti kinufurata se onsi kuruma oso onsi kuruma na media me kan makan bio enye me mega mi problem but me ka kire NDC fo so munim no mo make sure se kinufurata beba kurum ha kinufurata beba kurum ha yeni NDC fo will become yeni NDC fo e will become and NDC fo se mo ntimi ama kinufurata amma mo mfa kinufurata amma Ghana am face prosecution am face the court of justice. Forget about 2028 elections. NDC should forget about 2028 election because we Ghanaians will never sit there aloof and watch Kinufurata squandered, embezzled all these funds in the name of being finance minister. Sign a useless contract. For banks. Ye papa no mkokorafo, ye maame no mrewafo, sika omudi wuram nyina no Kinufurata edi sika no edi bi wura ni data bank edi bi investment man ho enne sika ono edi fight ye e wa America no e Ghana sika and I can tell you in authority say e Ghana ye sika and Kinufurata asan agina so awode e fight ye back e japade Kinufurata eto no wa America DC Washington DC now I can boldly tell you say Ghana ye sika and Kinufurata edi yes adeno ene wanya grounds ene he got the momentum he got all the steez yin na se butri kan na se ene Kinufurata got the steez to a top pressure at the maban say butri kan uhwe mistakes no me top pressure kwa de ma ban ananyo no anya butrika na eto sa anyo no enti abusunye ensem no eye simple and tietia ensem no eye wa simple and tietia de ye hwa ne se ndisi aban se mo bekwa ku gukurki no frata dina bisi ha by force se mo di mbrew se mo ni ntepo bekasew eno no eye mo ma asem ye sansem no ya no nambio but ye hwe ne mu se mo di kin ofori ata Kenneth yaw ofori ata omo fe ni kuntum kunu hwan odi be pie Ghana na wa ye na sedie so oba na se ne ho so ma obi ani na se bisa and do you think senka kinufurata enye guilty ankonyamba Ghana? I am asking you. Second Oforiate enye guilty of all these accusations. Enka do you think senka kinufurata ontumrika emesani dinkoy? Enka do you think in the first place for befa aeroplane muka say aeroplane obefa aeroplane adwane afiri kurom immediately NDC won the election. Do you think senka sa na bebana? They are playing with the minds of the people. And some of us, we Ghanaians, we are not going to let it happen. We are going to what? We are going to scatter everything. At the NDC, a simple tax, and it you can't fight corruption. Because the whole fight corruption, and then the King Ufurata is the main corrupt man. He has to be fought. I'm telling you. King Ufurata is the main target. He has to be what? Fought. It is a moment me and yes, no problem. Shall I do a comment section? Bye bye.